Howdy, everyone. It's the Cutting Corner podcast, hosted by your resident cowboy Keo, where we talk about video editing tips, tricks, and tactics to stay up to date in the competitive content creation world. Here with me today is NoGoodDavis, aka Davis, legendary editor for some of your favorite creators such as Pokimane, CorpseHusband, Jacksepticeye, and most recently, DanTDM. Welcome to the show, Davis.
Hi, thank you for having me. Hello.
You are so welcome. I am honored that you would be our first guest on the podcast.
Dude, we've been talking about this for like months,
years.
Man.
No,
months,
man, it's been years now.
Years, months, everything, dude. We've been talking about like doing this for so long, and you're finally doing it, and I'm so happy to be your first guest.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm pleased.
Thank you. Well, we have lots of topics, I guess, to cover. So I guess we can go ahead and just jump right into it, yeah?
Sure, I'm down. Let's go.
Okay, I guess the first thing to address is that you edit exclusively in Adobe After Effects. Is that correct?
So I edit like the effects in After Effects. I don't know how to explain this. I do all of the difficult effects in After Effects, and then like cutting and audio stuff, I just do in Premiere. Basically.
The gist of it, right.
Mm-hmm.
So the last that I remember when you were showing me personally how you were doing your editing, you were even doing some of the cutting within After Effects. Do you still do that now, or do you primarily move to Premiere now?
When I first started editing, I accidentally edited an entire Scara video in After Effects.
Mm-hmm.
Note to self and any editors out there, don't do that.
It is fairly difficult.
It is extremely difficult. Just don't do it, please. It's a mistake. I did it before. But yeah, I cut in Premiere, any sound effects and stuff in Premiere, and then any zoom, any motion graphic, I do specifically in After Effects. I am like an After Effects, like that's my baby.
You're an After Effects aficionado, would you say that?
Exactly, yes, exactly.
Okay, wonderful. So I guess another takeaway is that it is technically possible, if you only had access to After Effects, that you can produce a video, but it's not ideal. You should have access to Premiere or something like it, correct?
Yeah, no, if you're going to use After Effects, I recommend having an alternate, like, you know, Sony Vegas, Premiere Pro, or any other, like, even DaVinci, right? But I'd obviously recommend Premiere because of, like, the dynamic link. It's overpowered. It's so good.
So can you explain what dynamic link is for those that aren't aware?
Yeah, so basically in Premiere or something, if you take a clip, you can just right-click it and you can bring it straight to After Effects, and you can change it up in After Effects, and it automatically imports right into Premiere, like instantly. So it's super convenient. It saves tons and tons of time. I recommend anyone in Premiere or, you know, Adobe softwares, because it works with Audition as well. Please use it. It is super good. It saves so much time. So please use it, editors.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I think if you have access to the Adobe Cloud, or rather, I should say all of the Adobe software, you are absolutely sleeping on Dynamic Link if you are not using After Effects. You absolutely should try to integrate that into your workflow if After Effects editing is something that interests you, or it's something that might benefit your work or your projects.
It just ups your quality so much. Like I remember, I think when I first started editing and I first started to like touch After Effects, that's when my quality of like editing increased like tenfold.
100%.
Like the biggest jump, I swear. So like any editor out there, if you want to like, you know, practice it, it might seem a bit intimidating, but honestly, I recommend it like 100%. Yes, please. It's so good.
I would say that it takes people, let's say that you're familiar already with Premiere, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say it would take you maybe 2 or 3 days tops for you to learn really basic things in After Effects that might be intimidating off the top of your head. Like, for example, motion tracking. That's something that I learned in an afternoon. You would think that that's something that, you know, takes a long time to learn how to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Practice-wise, that's different, right? Like, it is going to take practice to get it 100% every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say most people will probably be able to learn that in an afternoon, if not 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you already understand Premiere, like even a little bit, and you head to After Effects, yes, it might seem a bit intimidating because it is. Just take like a day or 2 and just learn the ins and outs of the software. It honestly, it doesn't take that long. So I would recommend it to everybody if you can, if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, please use it.
Yeah. let's move on to our next topic that we have here. We've got several, so we'll be going through these for a bit.
Sure.
Let's talk about your origins of editing. So, did you have inspirations when you began editing, in the sense of, oh, I really like the way that this individual has their content edited, I want to practice getting like that? Or did you right out of the gate want to do something completely original that you hadn't seen before?
When I first started editing, I didn't really know of any other editors because I was so new to it. I didn't really know, so I kind of just developed my own style over time. But as I started to like meet editors and like, you know, build connections and stuff, I found tons of inspiration, especially like all my friends and stuff have a huge inspiration for like Four. I don't know if you know him, but he is a great friend of mine, a huge inspiration of pretty much my style now, you know, super clean, smooth, fancy motion graphics and stuff. That is like my goal, and he perfected it. Huge inspiration from him. And also movies and stuff as well. Tons of other content creators. Like there's this one guy named Mr. Amazing. He does like these like video essays and stuff. And my God, so fucking talented. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, you can curse.
Okay, sweet. Okay,
that is more than fine.
I'm just making sure. Yeah, he is extremely talented and a huge inspiration of mine.
And what was your first editing gig, for those that don't know?
Oh, damn. So if people don't know, I used to make MapleStory videos as a kid a lot. And I got my first editing gig from a MapleStory streamer because my Discord told me about it. So if my Discord didn't tell me about it, I would not be here today. So I love you, Discord.
Shout out Discord.
Shout out Discord. So yeah, my first ever client was a person named Zero by Divide. He is a MapleStory streamer. And I'm actually still pretty good friends with him today. And I still talk to him every now and then. So yeah, damn, that was a long time ago. Holy shit.
Yeah, and when was this? When were you creating these MapleStory videos?
Oh, videos? So I started when I was like 13 or something. And the first ever editing job, it was like very late 2018. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was like December 21st.
Okay, so you even know the date. Wow.
Yeah, it was a big day for me. I was super excited because it was basically a contest, right? And there was like 10 other people applying for this job. And then on the stream, he was watching the videos and stuff. And then my video came up, and I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty bad, but somehow I won and everyone loved it, and I got the job on the stream.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. I mean, hindsight is 2020, so obviously anything that editors look back, you know, they made in their career infancy is going to be bad, quote
I was
unquote.
proud of it back then. I was pretty happy with it, but
sure,
you know, looking back
as long
at it,
as long as you were happy with it back then and it got you the job, that's all that matters, right?
Exactly. Damn, throwback though. Oh my God, I haven't thought about that in a while.
That was almost 6 years ago, right?
Well, so I started making, I guess, my own videos 6 years ago or something.
Okay.
But
so that's about as long as you've been editing, I see.
Yeah, basically. But with those old videos, I basically wasn't even editing. I was like only cutting. But I started actually editing and adding effects and stuff with that MapleStory streamer in like late 2018. So that's kind of when I say to myself I started editing, but I really started editing like 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's still a long time to be familiar with content online and such.
For sure.
So, yeah, no, that's an incredible come up, I would say. Going from MapleStory edits to, you know, now top tier trending Minecraft edits. So
thanks,
good
man.
on you, man.
Thank you, dude. It's just crazy to like look back on. Like I haven't really like thought about these things in a long time, and like just thinking about them again, it's like, damn, we are really crazy to be where we are now. I'm just very grateful. I don't know.
I am as well. I am very, very grateful to be in the position that I am currently. What would you say is your most proud edit? Like one that you would say showcases your talent the most and you instantly point to whenever people ask something that you're proud of?
Well, there's a few, but
sure.
Definitely, I think the hardest I've worked on a video was during the Corpse era. So during that Huge Among Us phase, I made a few videos for Corpse. They've garnered like, it's crazy, like 25 million views or something, which is fucking mind blowing.
Sure.
But I remember working on one of those videos for like a week straight, day in, day out, barely got any sleep. I was so happy with the outcome of it because it posted and like everyone was like flocking to my Twitter, you know, like I wouldn't say like praising the edit, but just like very like
sure.
yeah, like very nice comments, right? And I was blown away. Like I've never had that, I think, reception from a video. I still remember that to this day. It was like the happiest I've felt in a while. It was so rewarding, and I'm so proud of that video.
Does it happen to be the 8-person POV?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I know exactly the edit you're talking about, and that video is indeed incredible.
Thank you. I remember, oh, you're going to hate me for this, and every editor out there, I'm sorry. So I did an 8 POV or like 10 POV Among Us video, and I didn't know about proxies back then.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so that entire thing, I didn't use one proxy. My PC was about to explode.
Shout out whatever hardware you were running. Oh, my goodness.
Dude, it's on its deathbed, basically.
I see. Are you due for a new PC at this point?
Well, I posted a few days ago. I think, looking for a laptop. I'm actually thinking about maybe getting like a M1 MacBook, one of those like
the new
really
M1
spicy
chip.
ones,
Yes,
just replacing this thing if possible. You know, for editing at least, because it's gonna be
sure.
Yeah, but I have to think about it still.
Sure. I also want to move my workload onto the M1 laptops.
They look insane. They're crazy.
They look incredible for the price. I want to say that they're a little cheaper than like a gaming rig nowadays, but all of that in a laptop,
scalpers.
Right? Oh, true as well. All of that in a laptop that you can carry around wherever you want. So it's like a mobile workstation essentially.
Yeah.
And I would be able to keep my current PC, and I think I'd be able to stream with it as well. So I could have OBS on the laptop, have a capture card connected to my gaming PC, and not have to worry about streaming and
we didn't think about that. Wait, that's actually big brain, dude.
That's what I was thinking of. So
damn, I should do that.
So M1 Apple laptop on the wish list for everybody.
Oh yeah,
in this coming year.
Yeah, like every editor out there is like, I need an M1, MacBook.
Yeah, I think they take a couple weeks to ship to you if you order them now.
Yeah, I think Sam got one. If you don't know Sam, amazing editor, amazing content creator. Shout out the boy. Yeah, no, I really want one of those.
Speaking of Sam, where would you say that editors can find resources for editing knowledge, like as a broad term? Whether that be tutorials or just like advice on shortcuts or anything in between, what would you say is the best resource for beginning editors?
Honestly, what is that one site that I think Cheery made, that like one editing site or whatever?
I believe I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If we can't think of it by the end of the podcast, I'll edit it in post.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Future Keo, put it on screen.
Yeah, put it on screen. Thank you. But that's also very good. Or going on to like Twitter is very good. There's tons of editors that are giving advice and stuff like that.
There are.
Go to YouTube. YouTube is your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And also Google. Just Google everything. Like every time I edit, I still learn something every single time. So search something up. I'm sure you'll find it. And especially find a couple Discords. Maybe I can send Keo a couple and he can, I think, link it maybe.
Sure, I'll put it in the description.
There's tons. But yeah, that's basically like the couple areas to like find, I guess, knowledge.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of younger editors, I would say, in the space currently. I would say between the ages of 15 and 19, and they are incredibly talented.
Yeah, I know.
I would say more talented than I think I would ever imagine anyone at that age being in the space that we're in. But alas, there they are. What do you say to the older editors that seem a bit spiteful towards them just because they weren't at that, I want to say, level? My personal take on it is that, I mean, it reminds me of a tweet that I saw, which was the day that older artists see younger artists draw well and compliment them instead of saying they want to quit because of them is the day that we progress as a society.
Yeah, no.
And 100%. I was like,
100%.
absolutely.
100%. Take that as motivation, like, holy crap, like, these younger people are killing it right now. I want to do that. Well, do it. You can. Like, everyone can do what they're doing. You just got to do it. Like, you just got to commit, It may take a couple years. It may take a couple months. Everyone's different. Everyone, does things at their own pace. Don't be discouraged by it. You know, I definitely compared myself a lot to editors, like a ton earlier last year, and it was not good. And I don't recommend editors to do that. I'm luckily out of that mindset now. But just, you know, taking these people's motivation, that's kind of what I'm doing now. If I see like an awesome edit from this super young person, I'm like, holy shit, you know, I want to do that. I'm going to try that in my next video, you know?
Right.
Take it all as motivation. Don't be discouraged. Everyone, I guess, learns at their own pace, okay?
Right. Yeah, I would agree to that. I think to add on to that, I would say as well that you don't necessarily have to take it as what you were saying, you know, oh no, you know, they're doing it so young and I'm already X age, you know, I'll be out of the game by next year, so to speak, right? I'm going to be 27 this year, right? I'm getting up there in age in this space, so to speak. I'm still young, but I'm young. getting up in age in terms of the content creation space, right?
Yeah.
I would say the best way that you can look at it is, oh my God, this, you know, 15, 16-year-old has this incredible portfolio and they've only been editing, you know, let's just say 1 or 2 years, right? That must mean that the available resources currently are able to teach someone to get to that level. If they're 15, 16, they did not take a college course on how to get there, right?
Yes, I agree.
That's what I'm trying to say. That information is free online. You can take those 1 to 2 years that they did as well and apply yourself to that and get there just as fast as they did. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Agreed.
It boils down to the dedication that you want to put into the craft, I think.
Well said. Yes, I 1000% agree. Nowadays in the creative field, I feel like any information that you want is so easily available online. Like I don't want to say you don't need a college degree because it does help. It does help for sure. I'm sure you can find everything online, on Google, on YouTube. Like, it's so easily available. Everything that I've learned online. I went to editing college or whatever, film school for like 2 months. You know, I didn't really learn much, obviously, because I was there for 2 months. Anyways, but still, yeah, you can find everything online.
Was it just not for you, film school?
Yeah, no, I went into film school, and I already kind of knew a decent amount, so I felt like I was already kind of ahead of everybody. So I felt like I was learning stuff that I already knew, and you know, I'm paying for it. So I just didn't really think
it was worth your time.
Yeah, I didn't think it was worth my time. And I was also super far away from family. I was like 10, 15 hours away. And then also basically I left because I got the job with Jack. Basically while in college, I emailed like 50 content creators in a day. And the only person that got to me was Jack. Shout out Jack.
Shout out Jacksepticeye.
And then in that time frame, I was working with, I think, Lily and Poki. So I was like, you know what? I'm ready to like take this to like the next step. So I just, as you're young, take risks.
Absolutely.
Don't play safe, especially even as you're older. I recommend taking risks. Don't play it safe. I mean, like, it's hard to say that.
No, I know exactly what you mean, because I'm in a position where I'm still able to take quote unquote risks, right? I live with my folks still. They understand that if I was on my own, it would be much more difficult to keep myself afloat if I was doing the same thing, editing.
Of course.
But they are comfortable with me staying with them until the point where I think that I am self-sustainable.
That's awesome.
What I'm trying to say is, if you have the opportunity to do so, you should take that risk, so to speak, and continue pursuing this if it is really your passion. If you really, really want to make content, if you really want to learn how to edit, then use that passion and continue to push yourself, because if you don't act while you have the opportunity, you won't realize that you wanted it so badly until the opportunity is gone.
I agree. No, like, take these opportunities. If any opportunity comes to you and you think it'll up your career, take it. Like, 100% take it. Especially if you're brand new, take any opportunity that you can get.
And I would also say that don't let the inverse be the end of the world. So if you lose an opportunity, or you, let's say, you know, you fumble an edit and your creator lets you go, or whatever, you know, whatever it might be. For example, I've been let go several times from very big clients just for, you know, things that happen to everybody. Like, you know, your content is late, the style of your editing doesn't match what they're trying to do in the future, right?
It happens.
It doesn't make sense. It happens, you know? And you can't, as a freelancer, you cannot rely on the person you're with forever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have to diversify. You have to realize that the content that you're making now is not the content that you will make forever and ever and ever if you're an editor. And you're not editing for yourself, of course. But don't let that discourage you, because just as an example, I was let go, I think, in October for very valid reasons. I held, no bad blood whatsoever with my former client. And less than a month later, I was offered like the job of a lifetime, essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely one of those people that used to be doom and gloom. I would say my age from 19 to 22, I was very, very, very doom and gloom type of person. But, being, almost 27 now, I want to say that the main thing that I've learned is that you shouldn't hold yourself to such a high standard of expectations. You know what I mean? Not everything is going to work out. Not everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Like, it's not perfect. Everyone's going to fumble sometimes, It happens. I've had it happen. It's not fun, but just keep moving forward. Don't let it discourage you. Don't let it, tear you down, because no one's perfect, And every time you fail, that's a learning experience. I've learned from every failure so much. So just keep going at it. Continue. Don't give up.
What's the biggest hurdle that you think you've faced?
I've had a few mishaps, I guess, where like, I think, for instance, where I didn't fit the style great, or I was maybe a little late at times because of, family issues or personal issues or something. In the moment, yes, it kind of hurt a little bit.
That's normal. Yeah.
I told myself after that, like, okay, every time you, take a job, I guess make sure to like talk to the client beforehand and like, kind of set the rules and
know what you're getting into.
Yeah, because like I went into that job super blind, and it was very vague of what they wanted. And I kind of just guessed of what they wanted from their style, and they really didn't like it at all. And that's fine. It happens. Like, no bad blood whatsoever. It's all good.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you got over that hurdle, but in this case, it would be something that you would, like a lesson learned almost, like it's a preemptive thing that you just carry forward in your next adventure.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, gotcha. Well, is there like any content that you wouldn't feel comfortable editing, or something that you flat out wouldn't edit if you were asked?
Yeah, a couple things. So I'm not a big fan of, like, no offense to any content creators out there, this is just personally what I don't like doing.
Sure.
Like, there are people out there that do, I guess, more performative, like it's not real in a sense, and it's just
exaggerated content.
Yeah, it's super exaggerated. It's very in your face. Like, it's a bit too much, at least for me. I'm not a big fan of editing that. Any like prank stuff, I've done that in the past. Not a big fan of. It's not really my thing.
Really? Okay.
Or any like kids stuff. Like, I do work for Dan. He has more of like a teenage audience, I think, where like he doesn't, I guess, make videos for kids. He makes videos kind of for everyone.
Dan's one of the oldest creators on the platform, right? Like, as far as content goes, right? Like, I would say that Dan has a unique position of having an audience that ranges from probably anywhere from 8 to 25.
Yeah, exactly. Their audiences, like, yes, kids watch them, but like they still have like a very older audience as well. So I don't feel like tied to that Roblox or something. Like, I probably wouldn't edit that either. But I'm like a big fan of editing, like, vlogs, IRL content, that kind of stuff is like, oh my, it is my absolute favorite because there's so many editing opportunities. I know this is a bit off topic.
No, go for it.
Editing like IRL content is so much fun. There's so many like opportunities to like add this, add that, and I hate being tied to like gameplay edit where I can't really do as much stuff like that. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to say that because I enjoy editing IRL content so much. It's so fun.
Sure. I mean, everyone has a favorite niche of content style that they like to edit. Like,
how about you?
Oh, me.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite is, wow. I thought I knew, and now I'm second guessing myself.
It's all good.
I know that this isn't everyone's, how do I say this? I think that a lot of editors wouldn't say that this is their first and favorite type of content to edit, but I actually really enjoy the reaction videos that I do edit.
I 100% agree.
Like I've edited over, oh my goodness, like I think I edited almost 70, it's close to 70 of Noel Miller's reaction videos on his second channel.
That's how I
Noel
found
Miller
you.
Presents. Oh, that's how you found
Dude,
me. That's
yes,
awesome.
dude. I remember the day you followed me, and I'm like, bro, he had it for Noel Miller? What? Dude, I was so shocked. Oh my god. I remember that. Holy, that was so long ago.
And, you know, and that was an incredible job opportunity because that allowed me to get in connections with Ted. And for those of you that don't know, I edited briefly for Ted Nivison, who is fantastic creator. Please go follow Ted Nivison.
Super nice guy.
Do not already. Incredibly nice guy. And that allowed me some work opportunity with him. And, you know, it just allowed me to grow my portfolio a bit more because everyone knew me from, oh, you were the guy that edited the Noel Miller Reacts. Those are awesome. You know, blah, blah, blah. They're edited well and this, and that. And I was like, wow, I feel like I'm finally really fitting into a style, so to speak, a style that I could call my own. Like, oh, that's a Keo edit. You know what I mean? And because I edited so long for him and I established that style, it's gotten me many, many jobs in the past. And I feel like that's where, or how I'm at where I am today and why I'm editing React videos still to this day. The formula is a bit different, I'll say that, but the heart of it is there in the sense that like creativity comes first and all these other things, but it's fun. It's a fun thing to edit and you get to see something new every time that you open Premiere or whatever software it is that, you know, you use.
For sure. Especially for like the React content. I was actually about to say, I like occasionally for Dan, I work on these like, I think Reddit videos where he like goes to like the Reddit and all that and he just picks out a couple posts or whatever. Those videos are like the most fun I've ever had editing a video.
Is it the freedom you get with it?
Yeah, there's so much freedom in every frame, everything. Like there's so much stuff to do. Like there's so much creativity and it's also like it's a pretty short recording. I think usually it's like maybe like 40 minutes or something. So, you know, it doesn't take very long to cut up the video and like most of the time is for the actual edits. Oh my god, it's so fun. It just reminded me of that, so I wanted to say that.
No, that's great. I highly agree. I want to say that editing those types of videos isn't time consuming.
No, yeah, it's not.
A big part of that is because we've gotten so used to shortcuts. I'm sure you have your fair share of shortcuts that you use.
Yes, sir.
Is there perhaps any favorites that you use in your day-to-day edits? Any favorite shortcuts you have?
Yes.
Oh, by all means, share with the class.
I ordered a mouse recently. It's called the G604.
Okay.
And it's a wireless mouse. It has 6 buttons on the side. And every button I have on it is a specific shortcut in Premiere.
Davis, you're gonna love this. I just ordered a week ago a Razer Naga, which has 12 side buttons.
Dude, oh my god, you're gonna love it. Back in the day when I first started editing, I had a Razer Naga, and it saves so much time because it's right on your finger. Like, dude, you're gonna love it.
Secret sauce for today's episode is a mouse that supports side buttons, preferably anywhere between, 6 to 12, whatever you prefer.
Yes.
And then getting a plugin, and I'll link this in the description as well, called Excalibur.
Yes.
Okay, this plugin is called Excalibur. Maybe you've heard of it before, but what you can do is bind your function keys, or any key really that you would want, to each side button, right? So let's say that, the macro buttons from 1 to 12, right? Those are function keys, function 1 to 12, right? You can go in Excalibur settings and say, okay, I want this effect to be applied to the highlighted clip whenever I hit F3, right?
Ooh.
So what that means is you can have as many shortcuts as you want that you can have normally in Premiere, right? But on top of that, you get extra productivity by doing things that Adobe doesn't allow you right out of the box to do, like binding effects to macros or shortcuts. That's not a thing you can do in normal Premiere. So by having Excalibur, you can actually do that. So what my workflow currently looks like is cutting a clip, nesting a clip, which is normally not a shortcut, putting it in a nest, applying an effect to that, and then adding a shake. That's normally 4 things that I have to do separately, right? Click and drag on half of those because they're effects.
Yeah. But
I literally reduce it to just, okay, the playhead is on the clip that I want to do all this to, right? And then it's F1, F2, F3, F4. And then it's done. It's all on the side of my mouse. So instead of taking 10 seconds to do that all manually by moving the mouse around,
Yeah.
if you do it a lot, it's going to save you hours when you edit. So I highly recommend that combo personally.
Yo, beer back. I'm gonna buy that real quick. Wait, so this is like FX Console and After Effects. I don't know if you know about that. Do you?
I believe I've heard of it. Yes.
FX Console, it has like the exact same search function. Like I think you can like just like press, I think Control and space, and you can just type whatever you want, and then it automatically applies, I think, to the layer that you selected, and also. And by the way, it's free for After Effects. So if you,
that's wonderful.
Yeah, so get it for sure. And the best thing with it too, if you just press Control Space under that little search bar, it has presets, and it's like I think favorited presets, and then it's just right there. You can either press like I think it's 1 through 9, and then it just easily I can apply effects like that. It takes 2 seconds, and it's the best way to like edit efficiently. So if you're editing in After Effects, I 100% get that plugin. It's called FX Console. I think it's, who's it by again? 1 second. It's by Video Copilot, which is like a huge site for I think plugins and stuff. So yes, please get it.
So Excalibur is also made by Knights of the Editing Table.
Oh.
I believe they're a developer somewhere in I think it's Russia, I believe, actually.
Oh, shit, really?
I could be mistaken, but I believe Knights of the Editing Table is based in Russia. I could be wrong.
I think I'm going to buy it. It's pretty cool, honestly. Thanks for telling me about that. I didn't actually know about it.
It's currently $75, but I believe they have sales occasionally.
Okay.
But they're always putting out updates, and they update their socials whenever there's big milestone updates. So definitely worth it if you constantly use effects and you think that you could shorten your workload time by applying those effects to hotkeys.
If there's any way that you can like, I think reduce the time to like edit, do it. Cause like, I guess learning how to like be efficient when editing is probably like the biggest thing an editor can do. Cause being quick and also producing of quality videos, it's like such a good trait as an editor. I think, for instance, I don't know if you know of Kina. You know Kina?
I don't think so.
Kina, he works in Sony Vegas and After Effects. He is the fastest editor I have ever seen. He can finish a full like 15-minute fully edited video, right? In like 5 hours. Fully cut up, edited with sound effects, like that. I've never seen a human edit that fast in my life. So if you can figure out a way to like, I think reduce the time of editing with shortcuts or plugins or extensions or anything like that, recommended for sure.
And also, speaking on that topic, don't be afraid of preset packs. I know they're very taboo in the editing world.
Yes.
As long as you're not relying on them to carry the content, because no one's going to care if a transition looks smooth or not if the core content is crap.
I use
right?
preset packs for my transitions. I think
that's
totally
what I'm
fine.
saying. Even the best of us use them, so don't be afraid of using them in your content if you think it's going to be any less if you think it'll be disingenuous to use it. Don't worry about that.
I wouldn't use like, I think for me personally, because I like to make things by myself, I wouldn't use templates and stuff like that, just because I feel like it's like it doesn't really make like, I guess, your style. Right, especially as an editor. It's different if you're a content creator. Yes,
and you're just trying to get by editing your own content. That makes sense. I understand using stuff like that. But if you're a dedicated editor and you're trying to learn the craft, right, you're kind of defeating the purpose if you use them.
Yeah.
Overly so, right? Not if you use them in general, but if you overly use them or over rely on them,
agreed.
I think you're defeating the purpose of like trying to learn to be a better editor. So.
Yep.
So I know one of the hardest things that we editors have to go through is keeping a schedule with ourselves, because setting our own schedules is kind of nightmarish. Being a freelancer, working from home, presumably. I mean, I know very little editors that actually work in an office with the creator that they're with. There are a few, but
there's a few, yeah.
Many of them that I know personally have to rely on keeping their own schedule to get the content out in time for the client. Do you have techniques that you use that you stand by that you would recommend to editors that are just now getting reliable work and they're not really certain if they're going to be able to keep a schedule for themselves and rely on themselves to keep said schedule?
Yeah, so I think when I started editing, and I still do use it, it's called it's a site called Trello. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it, right?
Yes, Trello is amazing. Yep.
Trello is amazing. I can probably send you a screenshot or something in a bit, or
Sure.
something like that. And
We'll throw it up on screen.
yeah. I have a list of like, upcoming videos, or like currently working on videos, or like, it's being reviewed, or, all that stuff. And I have it in like sections and stuff like that. And it really keeps things in order and like organized, because I really hate things when it's like I'm like so much is going on and I don't know what's going on. And it's very stressful and I'm like overwhelmed. If I have this Trello, everything's in order. It's such a peace of mind because I know exactly what's happening, when it's happening. And also, if you have your content creator on it, because I've also had that before, they can change stuff and add stuff and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so helpful. It's very, very good. And also, I think there's this extension on Chrome and Firefox or whatever. I think it's called Toggle. I think my friend Four showed it to me. And it's not necessarily for like a schedule per se, but it's more or less for like just kind of understanding how long you take per video. It's basically an extension that tracks time, I think, working on a video or whatever. And you can just activate it. I think once you finish, you can just, I think, deactivate it or whatever. And it tracks like exactly how much time you spent on like cutting or After Effects stuff or sound effects and stuff like that. And it just kind of helps you gauge how much time you take on each section. And then if a client's like, hey, how much longer, it's so much easier to kind of like, I guess, tell them how much it's
right, gauge off of that versus giving them a blind number.
For sure.
That's cool. I've used Trello in the past with other clients that have me working with a team. I personally use a Discord to keep track of a lot of stuff, but if there's things I need to keep track of on my personal side of things, I don't necessarily use a Trello. I use what's called Notion. It's an application that a lot of creators use. I haven't seen a lot of editors use it, but I personally like it a lot. Notion is a software. I think it's also a website. I think there's like a web version, but Notion is software for PC, Mac, and mobile devices, both Android and iOS. And basically it allows you to create I would say like a glorified journal that you can modify however you really want. Like, oh goodness, it's really like a blank slate. Imagine Google Docs on crack, right? You could make anything you want with this thing. You can write scripts in this thing. You can create a schedule on this thing. You can create shopping lists. God, the possibilities are endless. I'll leave the link to the website in the description, but I would highly recommend.
I'm gonna check it out. That's actually really cool. Yeah, thank you, man.
Absolutely. I'd recommend anyone that needs better tracking of their projects, or just someone who wants to be able to visually see what they're working on and what's ahead, what they've already accomplished, to look into Notion and see if you can set up a workflow within that software, because it's been super helpful. I'm even looking at podcast notes that I've made for myself right now using Notion. So not sponsored.
Damn.
I swear we're not sponsored.
It was sponsored by Notion. No,
it's the first episode. I don't think sponsorships are coming for a long, long time, if they ever come.
Hey, you never know.
I highly recommend Notion. It's been an incredible help, and I will continue to use it into the future. So
damn, yeah, I'm gonna check that out for sure. Also, there's one thing that I wanted to also mention. Editors of all sizes, big and small. I recommend one thing. Please, this might be a bit off topic, but I see a lot of like editors do it. Editors have this like constant, non-stop, 24/7 grind, and it's like it's nice and all for a little bit. But once you get burnout, that burnout is real, man. And it's not good. And it will slowly kill you. It's really bad. I've had it like a lot. Please take breaks.
Absolutely. I guess you're trying to say that, like, if you take on a large project, make sure to pace yourself, because
pace yourself. Yeah.
If you don't pace yourself, you're going to end up paying for it by not being able to work for said client that you're trying to impress so hard in the long run.
Yeah, it's just hard because when you like nonstop grinding, yes, it is nice, but like it's so easy to get overwhelmed and burn out. And then because you're burnt out, taking a video is like such this huge task, and it's hard to finish it, and it'll end up making a worse product. Take a break, chill for a little bit, and you come back to editing, and you'll be so much more motivated. In the end, the video will be so much better. Take breaks. It is one thing that I've learned over time, and it is amazing.
So I'm not going to dwell on this for too long, but I absolutely will preach as well to the end of my days that taking a break is incredibly important because I was in charge of a project where I was cutting down about 40 to 50 hours worth of VOD, which is quite a bit of time.
Pardon?
It was a lot of work. I was trying to get it done, I believe, within 2 weeks, which I think, depending on who you ask, I think that's a reasonable amount of time.
Still, 40 hours of VOD? That's insane. Like, I've done like 10-hour VODs and I was like dead. Like, oh my. Anyways, yeah.
I mean, it included, creating proxies for all of them because there's no way that any machine is going to cut through, an 8-hour VOD. They were all about like 8-ish hours each. No machine is going to cut through an 8-hour VOD, no problem, from Twitch. They all give issues. But I remember stressing myself out so much, and it's important to preface this that I was unmedicated for anxiety at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And because I was unmedicated, I let that project stress me out so much that I ended up hospitalized. And that is not a joke. I was actually in the hospital for a couple days.
I remember that, actually. I remember, yeah, that's shit, yeah.
It was rough, but you don't want to let yourself get to that point. And that's not even the fault of the creator by any means. It's just because I let myself go to the point where I was letting work projects, an editing project specifically, to get to me mentally, thinking that I wasn't going to be able to do it because of, a time crunch I invented in my head, in the sense of like, oh, I only got, so much done today. I'm not going to be able to do, X amount unless I do 10 hours the next 4 days. And you create this panic. Yeah, it can be overwhelming. So don't bite off more than you can chew.
Exactly. Bro, yes. Okay. Yes. If you're, I think working on a video, finish that first before you take another video. Because if you take too much and you overwhelm yourself, it's not going to be a good time.
It depends person to person, and your experience editing and how quickly you can edit and, how efficient you are, like we went over earlier.
Yeah.
But the important thing is to just not overwhelm yourself. Like, even as anxious as I was, it was very clear in the back of my head that I was overwhelming myself. I didn't want to admit it, but I knew I was, and I ended up paying for it. Literally, because I'm still paying off those stupid hospital bills. But the takeaway of that is you shouldn't overwhelm yourself to the point of exhaustion and your inability to do the work that you were asked to do.
We're all human.
We're all human.
Treat yourself nicely.
Exactly. Don't overwhelm yourself, knowing your limits.
Exactly. Agreed.
So I'll have to ask you this personally because it's going to differ from editor to editor that I ask. But what is your life like outside of editing? When you're not editing videos or you're not, scheduling content for your creators, what is the day-to-day Davis life?
Wow, I've actually never been asked that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I value my friends a lot. A ton. Like, it's like my second family. I have this small group of friends that I've known for like 7 years or something, for like a long time. I actually played, I think, MapleStory with them back in the day, and I actually knew them back then when I first started editing, and I still talk to them to this day.
Any shout outs you want to give?
Yo, Eddie, Kevin, Nigel, I love you boys. Yeah, no, like, I've known them forever. I spend a lot of time with them, but I'm pretty normal. Like, I stay in a lot. I do also love to like be outside. I love nature, which is, I am not joking, as an editor, it's probably surprising, but I love being outside.
I think that's very healthy.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. But, like, I love playing games, and I also love, I've been itching to like start to make content myself, I guess. I know it probably isn't,
I think every editor gets that itch, right?
Yeah, no, like, I've been watching this guy named Funk or whatever. I don't know if you know him. I think he makes these, like, video essays on video games and stuff like that. It's such an inspiration because that's something that I want to do so bad. And I've actually been writing a couple ideas in, like, kind of script kind of stuff in, I think, docs. And I think this year is the year I'm going to actually commit and make something myself and kind of push towards that instead of just, only editing for clients, because
that's awesome. Yeah.
I'm excited, and I've been working on that.
It's important to have goals for the future, for sure.
For sure. Yes. Yeah, what else do I do? I don't know. Family. I've been spending a lot of time with family, especially since like the holidays and stuff like that. It's been really nice. I don't really do a whole lot other than like play games. I love music, I guess. I don't know. But yeah.
Do you play music yourself?
I play the guitar a bit.
Okay.
I used to play the drums as well. Other than that, not really much. I really want to get back into guitar, like very badly.
I wanted to ask, is that something you would ever want to record yourself in the future?
If I got better, like I'm not like great, like I understand like the basics and stuff like that. But ever since I got into this one genre of, I think, music, it's called math rock.
Okay.
I really want to start to learn that, but I sold my guitar a while ago because I was like, I don't really play it much, so I just kind of sold it. So I think this year I'm probably gonna buy another one.
Okay.
And just kind of practice and stuff like that, because it was so fun back then. I really enjoyed it. I was decent in my head. Like I was very happy with like how I played, even though it wasn't great.
Well, I think music is really healthy for a creative brain. So...
For sure. Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. Like having other skills other than just editing and like having that other hobby is so fun. It's exciting. Damn, yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm excited to see what 2022 brings for you.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a good year for me. I think I guess last year or whatever, it was kind of tough. I had a bit of a tough time.
Sure.
Because I was, a lot happened last year with like the whole like Among Us thing or whatever, blah blah blah.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah, well, it was just like editing in general. Like at least for me, it was very like I've done a lot last year, and it was very overwhelming.
Sure.
So at the end of the year, I honestly didn't do like a ton as I expected. So I think this year I'm gonna really buckle down and like try some different stuff. Like I guess get out of my comfort zone, try something different, and kind of show people what I can do. And I don't want to be lazy. So I'm excited for this year. I really am.
That's awesome, man.
I hope to share it with people, hopefully.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll be here cheering you on, and I'm sure everyone else will. Okay, so we're entering the last part of the show here. This is the podcast Mailbag. We might give it an official name later down the line.
I like Mailbag.
I think we all like mailbags, or getting things in the mail, rather. We take questions from Twitter, and we address them here on the podcast together. So we've got a few here. We've got a handful that came in over the last few hours or so. It was a very last-minute thing. I had completely went over my head. So hopefully in the future I'll have much more time to gather questions, but we've got a few here.
Sweet.
Tifez says, when was the worst time Premiere and or After Effects crashed on you? What was the project and how much did you lose?
Oh, ooh, I remember. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I was working with Corpse. Yeah, it was Corpse. It was during the whole Among Us thing. Obviously, it's super popular, and I think Corpse was like, just popping off, right? Well, like popping off like a ton, because he was already kind of big before, but like he got huge.
Massive.
Yeah, massive. Right. But during all that, we really wanted to push out videos, but these videos were pretty high quality. They took a long time to do, and this hurt. So he asked me to edit this one part, and because I was severely lack of sleep.
Sleep deprived,
Yeah, very sleep deprived. I was working on the video, and in the middle of the night, I cleared the cache or whatever, and somehow, as I was clearing the cache, my entire PC froze up, and the project got corrupted, and I had to restart.
No.
I was in the middle of it, and I had to fully restart the video. I don't think Corpse knows that. But
no.
But
podcast
like,
exclusive.
Obviously, like it wasn't a big deal because I got the video done on time.
Yeah, good on you.
Still, like I was freaking out. I was really scared. But that was probably the worst. It was like maybe like a day or two of work lost or something. And luckily I buckled down and went like Godspeed mode, and I finished it on time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, don't work on lack of sleep, because sometimes shit happens, and I didn't have autosaves, so have autosaves.
Enable autosaves for the love of God.
Yes, save every 5 minutes. That's
3 minutes.
Now.
I save every 3. 5 minutes
really?
is too much.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna save every 3 now. I'm gonna change it right after this.
I'm gonna keep mine really brief.
Yeah,
I would say mine was a video essay project of sorts that included a bunch of VOD footage as well.
Ooh.
And I think it was like 20 something hours of VOD, and for whatever reason the proxies got corrupted, and I was like, well, that's
Oh,
not a big deal.
no.
I can delete the proxies, create new ones. And as I was creating new ones, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was a media encoder issue or a Premiere issue, but I made one of them. It went in okay, and then the other one, for whatever reason, also got corrupted. Thank you, Adobe. And whenever I tried opening the project file in Premiere, it would just hard crash every time.
Oh,
and
no.
that led me to reverting back like 3 versions of Premiere until I could open it. But I at the end of the day, none of them let me open it. So I was unable to open the project, even though it was like majority done. So I had to restart the entire project and clear out all those old versions of Premiere, and it was a mess. I missed the deadline, and I needed an additional like 3 or 4 days to complete the video.
Fuck.
It was really bad, and I was disappointed because it was a huge project. But
oh man,
it's in the past. It got done, so
it happens.
Yeah.
It happens to the best
It
of
does
us.
happen.
Happens to the best
It
of,
does.
and it'll probably happen to you in the future. So just
expect it.
Expect it.
Prepare for the worst.
Yes.
And when it happens, eventually you won't be surprised.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so Ayala_AEP asks, what was not only the moment that made you think, hey, I want to do this editing thing, but also the project/client that made you realize, hey, I can do this thing? So like the first shot of self-confidence that you had in the video editing industry.
Oh man. Yeah, like off the top of my head, it's super easy. It's actually working with Lily. So back when I worked with Lily, like a ton at least, because I still kind of work with her today, but not as much, obviously. Yeah, so I got the job with Lily, and I was still pretty new to editing, but I learned so much from the other editors because they were so fucking talented, like extremely talented. And I learned so much from them. And then over time, like editing her videos, I kind of gained like a style, and I'm like, shit, man, like I'm actually like not half bad at this editing thing. Like I'm constantly getting these, I think DMs and stuff of people saying like, I love these videos and stuff like that. And
That's awesome.
And like, as soon as I got the job with, I think Lily, and I started, I think building my style or whatever.
Yeah.
That confidence came with it. And ever since then, like, man, yeah, that's kind of when I built that confidence. Because before, and I definitely wasn't very confident.
That's amazing. No, that
was like my end goal. Like at the start, like I love Lily. Yeah.
No, that's awesome that you were able to meet your own goal that quickly in that time span. That's really cool.
It's wild. Shout out Lily.
Shout out Lily. So let's see. Pango's Dog asks, a question I have is what editing programs would be best for beginners or people who edit casually? That's easy for me.
It's like a mixed bag for me, because in my eyes, I think Premiere is honestly pretty easy if you can learn it. Like in like a single 10-minute video or something, it's pretty easy to learn. It's not very hard, in my opinion.
Sure.
Like you just got a couple of shortcuts and you're pretty good. But I also recommend Sony Vegas. I started off on Sony Vegas back then, and I learned it very quickly, maybe in like a day or something. There's also like, I think DaVinci Resolve is a good beginner one.
Absolutely.
But those are like my 3. I wouldn't pick anything else, in my opinion. That's obviously just me.
So my personal, if we're going with 3, my personal top 3, well, I guess it also comes down to the platform you're on. If you're on a Mac.
Oh, yeah.
If you're on a Mac, please try out Final Cut Pro.
Yeah,
Final Cut Pro is an incredible piece of software.
It's really good.
Super intuitive, does just as much as Premiere does. Give it a shot. Don't use iMovie. For the love of God, do not use iMovie.
Why not, dude? Come on.
No. Do not use iMovie. That's like the Windows Movie Maker of Mac, okay?
Yeah, it's pretty shit.
Don't use iMovie. Use Final Cut Pro if you have a Mac and you have access to it. The next best thing I would say is DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is absolutely free.
Yeah,
okay?
That's the best part. It's free.
And you have access to, amazing color grading tools.
Yes.
All the basic editing stuff that you would need, right, to get started. And there's tons of tutorials now online for DaVinci Resolve. Back in the day, not so much. But now I would say that there's enough to get a beginner started.
For sure. Yeah.
And then my third place would more than likely be Premiere. Premiere's okay to start with. You're probably going to find the most tutorials for Premiere and Adobe software.
Yeah.
But the problem becomes, okay, am I willing to pay $35 a month minimum for all of this? Presuming you need Premiere, After Effects, whatever else, right? Or, do you want to go through the trouble of finding it, through other means? Whatever that raising my hands up, whatever that means.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know what that is.
Not going to advocate that, not going to say what it is.
I don't even know what that is. I'm confused.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, I even brought it up. So it really depends how much effort you want to put into finding the best software for you. But if I had to give you a best all around, doesn't matter if you're on Mac or PC, beginner software, I would say DaVinci Resolve. I think DaVinci Resolve probably has the most options for people on both platforms.
I think DaVinci Resolve is good. Yeah, for sure. Like either DaVinci Resolve and Premiere. The reason I say Premiere, at least for me, is because it's usually the industry standard and tons of people use it. Every tutorial ever is on Premiere, I feel like. But I think Resolve is still like an amazing software. And if you're editing casually, like the comment said, I think Resolve is perfect. And it's free. Like who doesn't like free shit?
It's free. Exactly. Just to back up on that for a moment, when we say industry standard, we mean YouTube editing and the content creation space. Yeah. Because the industry standard, to my knowledge, is something like probably Avid. So when we say industry standard in that term,
it's for like the content creation space at least, because that's kind of what we're in, right? So
right. Avid would be like you're editing a newscast or you're editing, sports, whatever it might be, right? More than likely, they will teach you Avid in college and things like that. But in terms of content creation or at-home editing, so to speak,
you got tons.
You got tons of options.
Yeah,
exactly.
Tons of big fun.
Okay, next question is from Queeby, I'm not quite sure. If you're looking to get into editing but don't have any previous work for clients, how do you get your first client?
Easiest one. Okay. Pick your favorite streamer, any streamer, okay? Head to their, I think VODs, okay?
Video section on Twitch.
Videos on demand, baby.
That is correct. Download Twitch Leecher.
Yes, sir. Download Twitch Leecher, edit it, upload it on YouTube, unlist it. Add it, I think, to a portfolio. Portfolio box is perfect. That's what I use. It's pretty nice, but there's tons of other options. Like there's the Adobe portfolio, there's Behance, there's tons of others. Just make a portfolio. Have some test edits in there. Like you don't have to have I don't know how to explain this. Like your first video doesn't have to be like a first client.
Right.
Be anything you want, just like a test edit.
You don't have to be hired to begin building your portfolio.
Exactly. Either upload it public, but don't monetize it. I wouldn't monetize it because it's kind of weird to take clips from other people, and I wouldn't do that. I would honestly just edit something, post it onto YouTube, unlist it, add it to the portfolio, and bam, that's what I did. And because I did that, I got a couple jobs from I got a job with Poki, for instance, because I think I sent Bkoi a test edit I did for fun, and I got the job. So test edits are amazing, and it's super easy. Just download a VOD, edit it, post it, you're good. Bada bing, bada boom.
The test edits that you make don't necessarily need to be addressed to the person that you're approaching. Yeah, so let's say I edit a Pokimane video, right? Or a VOD. I edit a Pokimane VOD and it's, 2-3 minutes long and it's in Poki's style, right? Yeah. Well, as long as the person that you're wanting to apply for or, you're seeking to edit for has a similar enough style to Poki and you send them that video, it'll still be a good example.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be one example. You should have multiple of these.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be the exact person. It works best if it's the exact person because it proves to them that their editing style, their what they expect out of a video, and it's short enough to keep their attention. It's not like you linked them a 20-minute highlight video of your favorite moments from their stream, right? Exactly. You're like, no, this is purposely made as a test edit to show you what I can do and how I can mimic your style and how I would be a valuable asset to your team.
Yes, agreed. If you can show the client that you can kind of adapt to any style. That's one thing that's very important as an editor, by the way, is adapting to your any editing style that you want. Try to kind of nail that. It's very important as an editor to kind of do everything,
Otherwise, I completely mirror your sentiment about creating a catered video for the person that you're wanting to edit for, or at least people that you're familiar with their content, how it's edited, and you're able to replicate it, or maybe even better, put your own spin on it that you think it would look better by editing it a certain way, right? For example, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't believe Germa has an official editor fair, so to speak.
I'm not too sure.
But there are tons of people that upload Germa compilations but edit it in like their own unique style, whether it be the style of cutting or they add little extra goofy bits or whatever. Everyone does it differently, and all the compilations that I watch from, that I find on YouTube would be great examples of, hey, look, I can edit this type of content and I have good pacing strategies and I'm familiar with the software that I use. Hire me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure. Agreed. Well said.
Okay, and we have one more question here, a little bit of a fun one. Chris Ando _ could be Ando, forgive me. Chris says, "Can you edit my video for free?"
No, I'm kidding. Even if you're like a brand new editor, I know this is probably kind of random, but like,
no, this is what we were leading into. Yeah.
Okay. The only reason, like, I've done free videos in the past. Only do it if it's a great opportunity.
Sure.
I wouldn't really even recommend doing that. Please get paid for your work. It's a skill. It should be paid for. I remember like the first videos I did, like I charged $10 for. Yeah, which isn't great.
Criminal.
It was because it was a good opportunity, and I was so new to it, like editing, and I like kind of wanted like a portfolio. It's a per situation basis, like it has to be the right situation.
So I would say the only free videos that you should be doing are the ones that we just went over on the last tweet.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
And if you want my real personal opinion, I think that if you are editing down a video that is over 8 minutes in length, okay, over 8 minutes in length, and you're proud of the work that you did, and it took you, let's say, a day or more,
you should
okay,
be paid for it.
The least amount that I would charge for that, okay, the least amount, even if you think you're unexperienced and you're just trying to build your portfolio or whatever, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to charge anything for a video, it should not be under $100. Do not charge under $100 for any edit, even if it's like you just picked up Premiere 2 weeks ago, right? And you finished learning all the hotkeys and all this and all that, and you are confident enough to put out a video, and you're like, hey, this is some, this is fairly beginner work or whatever, but this is the rate. This is my rate, right? Do not undersell yourself. Even though you've only been doing it for so long, do not undersell yourself. Not only because it's disadvantageous to you, but it's literally to everyone else in the editing community.
Yeah.
Smaller editors do not realize the impact they have on the greater editing scene when they price themselves between $20, $50, even $80, right? Yeah. You bring down the price that editing is worth, the more that you belittle the work that you put in yourself. So, if on average, don't
undersell yourself.
Right. If I'm charging, let's say $200 per video edit, that's not actually what I charge, but let's say I'm charging $200 per video edit, for all my different clients, right? And majority of new editors that come into the space say, oh, I only want $50 for my video. There is no reason that any sane client would pay me $200. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at that point, you have to realize that if you're putting in 8 hours of work and you're not making minimum wage, like old minimum wage, not where minimum wage should be, but you're not even making $7.50 an hour, there's a problem with that.
Yes.
And it affects everybody.
Yeah.
So when you come into the space, everyone understands that you want to value your work at what it's worth, but your work is worth more than $20, $50, what you're charging currently, more than likely, if you're new.
If you're putting more than a day of work in, you shouldn't be charging $20 a video. Even if you're new, like, it's hard to say, because like if it's a very, very easy video and it takes like a couple hours, sure, but if it's like,
right, I'm not talking about a TikTok.
Yeah, if it's like a day or two of work and you are pretty proud of it, charge money and charge a decent amount. Like, even if you're new, 80 to 100, like 120-ish is a good range. Honestly, a very good range. And I'm super happy to see, because the editing rates have gone up a ton since I started. Because like, I shouldn't say prices, but like editing prices have gone up a lot since I started. And it's really nice to see people getting paid a lot more. Even brand new editors getting paid a lot more.
And I say that because there's been even, editors that I've known for a long time that I know do incredible work, and the rates that they get paid aren't up to par with what even I was getting paid on smaller channels. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like every creator, has like a government set standard that they need to make sure that they pay their editors XYZ amount, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of our job to make sure that those rates are reasonable for the work that we do. Because if we price ourselves too low, what happens? The whole thing collapses and our work is suddenly worth, $50 a video when we actually put, 3 days worth of time into our content. So that's definitely important to remember. But I think, despite it being a funny tweet, we were able to take a lot from that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. So, Davis, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, man.
This was so fun. Even though I stuttered a lot, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, bro, don't even worry. That's all coming out in post.
Yeah.
I'm teasing. So, are there any special projects you're doing you want to shout out?
Well, I think like I said before, I am working on a couple projects of my own. I'm thinking about releasing some stuff on my Ko-Fi like I did in the past, but a bit more tailored towards editors like presets or something, or a tutorial for motion graphics, which I know a lot of people are talking about, at least for me. And then also I'm going to be making some content this year, hopefully, and I will post it on my Twitter.
Hell yeah. So speaking of, where can people find you?
At NoGoodDavis on Twitter. If you want to follow me, go for it. If you don't want to, that's all good. All good. Thank you for watching. That's it.
Thanks again for being on the show, Davis.
Thank you for having me.